everyone, thanks for joining me yet again. I've got some good news. The house is finally done. In this video I'm going to show you a tour of the inside and try to go over a lot of the details. Of course, you've seen the progress all the way up until now if you've been following along, but if you haven't, be sure to go back and check out the full series. Over 50 videos showing renovating this $12,000 house to what you're about to see. It is currently a Tuesday, and I finished the house on Thursday, had the final inspection passed, had a property manager come and take a look at it. She photographed it, and then the next day had it listed for rent. That was Friday, and then yesterday on Monday I got a text message saying the place is already rented, so that's great news. It's going to be rented for $600. My total investment was around $30,000. I'll figure out the as close to an exact number as I can soon. But it's about $30,000. I rent it for $600. They charge 10%, so I'll get $540. I call that sort of my gross. And then from there, my overhead in this house is $99 taxes per year, so that's real estate taxes per year. And then I have an insurance policy on the house is between $200 and $250. It'll probably change once the renters are in the house. It'll go down a little bit, and once they see the condition. I think that's pretty much it. Let's go inside and have a look. So you all know how much it really changed on the outside from a little rough center block. No paint, no nothing, just raw center block, no overhangs, a porch that was falling apart. It was rough. It was quite the shack. So all that's been done to it, you've been following along most likely. The roof was redone, the porch was built, the outside was stuccoed, polished, whatever you want to call it, painted. It luckily did have the windows in it already. I think I already mentioned it. Porch was built. It is a wild difference in its exterior appearance, inside as well. But the porch, I think, has been a great addition to it. Could have I made it bigger? Sure, but that would have cost 2 or 3 times the price that I paid to build this one. And I think it's a perfectly fine little porch, just 1-bedroom house to start with. Total square footage is 575 square feet, so it is itty-bitty, but it's a cool place. I think it's a perfect place for a person who wants a 1-bedroom house or a place to live, but does not want to live in an actual apartment. So it's going to make to where you don't have a lot of upkeep in the house as far as cleaning. Also, people have been confused about the layout as I've kind of moved along and the walls start getting closed in. You can't see everything. So I'm going to very quickly kind of first just go through the house to show the layout, then we'll go back and take a look at the details. When you come through the front door, you enter into the living room. Off the living room, we've got the kitchen, and then the bedroom, and then the bathroom is through the bedroom, and then there's the closet for the bedroom. Kitchen, back door, and then the utility room. So let's go back up to the front of the house. It's not a lot to say about the living room, but I'll say something. Throughout the entire house, I went with this vinyl plank flooring, so it's just vinyl all the way through, so it is unaffected by water, and hopefully it holds up well. This is an experiment for me using it. A lot of landlords like to use it, so I'm going to give it a try. 2 windows in the living room. Of course, the entire thing was reframed, walls framed around the exterior, wires ran. It's basically a brand new house, except for the center block walls, the roof structure, and the majority of the floors. And here is the return for the air. So it has a heat pump on this house. Thermostat right there. Another thing the house got, of course, everything in the house is new, but it got all new doors. And I did keep the front and rear exterior doors, and then just added the trim. So just a simple trim just to kind of dress it up a little bit. Same in the doorway going from the kitchen. It's just real simple stuff. It gives you trim, but it's just a little bit extra that looks nice. The bedroom, I believe, is about 11 feet this way and 13 feet this way. So not huge, but not tiny. My personal bedroom in my house that I live in is smaller than this. And again, this vinyl plank flooring runs throughout. 2 windows in here. So I did like how the windows turned out. The windows are set back in because the walls framed around the exterior for running all the insulation and electric. So I like how they're set back in. I ended up going with these cordless blinds. So you just grab hold and you just pick up and pull down. What you're avoiding with these is the cord, of course, which is a choking hazard, usually to children. And it sounds like one of those things that's overly cautious, and I was talking to someone else about him, and one of his daughters almost died. She fell out of a baby crib and got tangled up in that cord. She was crawled out trying to play with the cord and got hung in those, and he walked in the room and the baby was hanging. And that sounds like a horror story, and it is, but it's true. This is my wife's uncle told me about that happening to his daughter, so my wife's cousin. In the bedroom, got the closet. Small little closet, but perfectly fine. Installed this little wire shelf, so the wire shelf will be storage for putting things on top, and then of course your clothes hangers go in here, so it's spaced properly to where this, the depth of the closet, this is in the center to where the hangers have clearance. I originally had this wire to have a light in the closet, but when I did my final inspection had to go 2 rounds. I failed the first one on some little small things. I had to replace every single receptacle in the whole house with tamper-proof ones, the ones where they've got those little plastic tabs in the way, and I wasn't happy about that. I don't like that type of stuff, because when you walk up to them, it's kind of hard to stick plugs into them. At times it seems like something is just going to end up breaking, and I'll have to change them out. And usually when things like this that are meant to be safe break, somebody ends up rigging it up in a way that's much more dangerous than just a plain old receptacle. So I prefer that, but that was the code, and they would not let that slide. Attic access in the bedroom, nothing much to say about that. Then we've got the bedroom. I skipped something. Originally there was a light switch right here that controlled the light in the closet. They would not let me put the light in the closet because of clearance issues as far as fire stuff goes, fire code. Even if I had an LED light bulb that ran off of only like 11 watts and it was a completely sealed unit, and the unit itself is plastic. So I mean, there's just such a small amount of heat in something like that. You could put that in a basket of kittens and it wouldn't hurt them. So it's not going to cause a fire, but it's just, since the packaging on the unit that I bought did not specifically say that it was a zero clearance light, they couldn't allow me to use it. So I just removed it all, put blank covers on here and here, and it's wire nutted off and taped. That was how they said that I could resolve it and it'd be fine. Entering into the bathroom. It's a good sized bathroom for a house of this size. Got the vanity right in front of the door. Originally I was going to put the toilet there, but y'all talked me into not having that right in front of the door. That's tucked around the corner here. And somebody's got enough room for one of those over-the-shelf toilet, over-the-toilet shelves if somebody wants them. Installed a mirror that I just had laying around my basement. I think I probably found that out of another house. Little bar light above it. I think the light was about $17. The vanity was $50. The toilet was $89. The one-piece shower unit, they're not really all that cheap. I think that was about $450 or $500. I bought that at Home Depot. One of the only things I bought from Home Depot. I did buy the vanity from there as well. And then exhaust fan. One thing that came in handy is I made sure I had framing right where the closet, shower rod was going. I added additional framing to where that could be screwed right into that. Trim throughout the whole house is the same. It is I think they call it a 3.5 inch baseboard, and then I ran the little shoe molding around as well. And then all around the bathtub I've got everything caulked up really good. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but just like a little shiny spot. So it's clear silicone running there, and then in between any tenants I check stuff like that just to make sure the condition of any kind of caulking that could cause damage if it was compromised is fixed. Pretty base level stuff throughout the whole house. I think that's the way to go with rental. Even if you're selling something, a lot of things too, you never know preference. For example, a lot of people had comments to say about this type of a faucet for the bathroom, but the next person wouldn't mind that at all. And there's always going to be, somebody's always got an opinion. So with a rental, I think this was like $14. The next one was like $20 or $25. You can always pay more, but throughout a whole project like this where you've probably got 1,000 purchases, multiply that times $5 to $100 more per purchase, and you've got a whole lot more investment, and it doesn't make a darn difference in how much you're going to get on rent. And overall, this place is so nice and new. Who could have anything bad to say about this? You know, if this fits what you're looking for in a rental, there's nothing bad to say about it. I would live here in a heartbeat. As far as its level of being done and level of maintenance, this place is better than the house I live in. My house is much cooler, but this one is just, everything is just so new in it, and there's just nothing else that could be done to make this place any better at this point other than just buying more expensive stuff. Out of the bedroom, through the living room, and into the kitchen. Also, totally new and updated. We'll go appliances first. Brand new refrigerator was $500. Why I wouldn't just go buy a used one is I just didn't want to deal with people on Craigslist hunting down something, finding out it doesn't work, being bent over, cleaning chicken juice out the bottom of it. I didn't want to fool with anything like that. So I just bought that new $500, least expensive one from Lowe's. Got the dishwasher for $160. It's normally about $250, $300 or something like that. It was just a return, but it works perfect. I've already tested it. The oven was a return as well. It had a loose connection in it, and then one of their service people had fixed it. So it's perfectly fine, fully tested. I paid $250 or $260 for that. That's normally about $400 as well, I think, that model. The base cabinets for the kitchen and the wall cabinets, all the cabinets, these were just your normal unfinished oak cabinets, and I primed them and painted them, sanded between the priming and the painting just to smooth things down. This color is called, I can't think of it. I was originally going to get a color called Utterly Beige, and then I went a shade or two lighter, and I think that was a Sherwin-Williams brand. If I remember, I'll put the name of the paint down in the description. This is the original sink out of the house. It's just got some water staining in there right now. It's completely clean now. I just steel wooled it out and sanded it out with some higher grit sandpaper and smoothed it up, cleaned it up real good. Countertops, these are your normal Formica countertops. I like them though. They've got this, what do you call that, sort of bull-nosed, I guess, got that profile. But the actual laminate runs way back under there and doesn't end right at the front like a lot of them do. So you're more protected against water. And then of course everything is nice and sealed up. So originally the plan, let me kind of give you a pan of the kitchen. I know you know what it looks like, but just kind of a shot. So I imagine a kitchen island right here. If this was mine, I would do a kitchen island with some stools around it, or someone could just put a small kitchen table. Originally I was planning with the cabinets, is the cabinets base and wall would be an L-shaped around this corner. But by the time you did one of those corner cabinets, top and bottom miters for the counter and all that, it got really expensive and it was going to be time consuming. So I simplified it and I'm perfectly happy with it now. The only thing that is out of place as a result of doing it would be this receptacle and the coax and phone line connections. But it's no big deal. If somebody wants to have a phone line come to the house, they can mount the phone right on the wall and connect to it. A TV, if somebody wanted to do that on a countertop, could be hooked to the coax. And then you've just got this one outlet here. It's not that big of a deal. Somebody could have just a little small shelf right here with something sitting on it too. I think that's pretty much it for the kitchen. We'll look at it from this angle. So you can kind of see that's your open floor space for a table or whatever kind of a seating people want to do. Someone could also do some sort of, kind of combine the living room with the, do sort of a little dining living room area as well. But, again, it's a one-bedroom place. The fellow that's moving this place is 25 years old with perfect credit and a good job. That was what I was told by the rental management company. So, he may have some guests over, but it's just a single guy living here. Right off of the kitchen is the utility room. So you've got the hot water tank, the access panel for the back of the shower is just plywood painted and screwed on. And I sized this room to where a stackable washer and dryer could fit. I'm not adding it into the house. I was originally planning on doing that, but it was suggested to me by the rental management company not to do it to where if they break the unit, I don't have to replace it, just to let them use their own unit. And they said in their experience it's much better than supplying it to them and having somebody do something silly to your appliances. They said in a house like this it would definitely not be standard to include that, but the hookups are here. And the other option it gives somebody is they could put just a normal, 2 units side by side. It would come out to almost here, so it would be kind of tight. But if you have a stackable unit, that's a more specialized thing. So if one breaks, you're kind of locked into the other one. You could just buy 2 inexpensive used washer and a dryer and hook into it. If we turn around, there's the breaker panel. So everything is within this room. It's got its own little window, and it'll have enough room where someone could put a shelf in here, ironing board, kind of have all that in one room. Some extra storage, stuff like brooms and vacuums and all that. So it is, a house, so it is nice to have this type of a room. One could say that I could have kind of eliminated this to a degree and made the bedroom bigger, made the bathroom better or something, or even potentially turn this place into a 2-bedroom. If I was going to do anything, I would have strived to have turned it into a 2-bedroom, but I kind of just wanted to go this route, and it's just the way it happened. So that is the inside of the house. I'm extremely happy with the whole thing. Again, I'd be more than pleased to live here myself, and everybody I've shown it to is just going, golly, this place is, makes my place look like crap. And joking, asking if they could rent it from me. It's family members and stuff. But I am very pleased with the way it turned out. I just like how clean it is. And I think the fact that it was one business day is how long it took to get this place rented really shows that having a nice place, it attracted what I hope to be a perfect renter. From the breakdown, the fact that he's has perfect credit, has a good job for the past 3 years. There's some consistency there, and I think when you've got something nicer, you're going to pull in nicer renters. And then if the place isn't really all that nice, some rental management companies won't even want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with a house that they know they're constantly going to be getting phone calls on, a trashy house that has rough renters that they end up having to evict. Because with these places, they run everybody through credit checks, criminal background checks. You have to have rental history, and your income has to be the right ratio for how much the rent is and how much you make. So one of the biggest things that I had somebody suggest was, basically they said nice houses attract nice renters, trashy houses attract trashy renters. And a lot of times, anytime you mention anything negative about a person in regards to renting or something like that, you get people jumping all over you. But some people really do suck. And I've dealt with people like that, and it turns into a nightmare with rental stuff. The first person I ever rented a house to was awful, and I had to evict them and go through the whole process. And it was just so unnecessary because I gave them so many ways to get out of it, but they still wanted to be nasty with the whole thing. But that was a huge lesson. And that's one of the reasons that I just have property managers do this now. A lot of times people will say, well, you're going to give up 10% of your rent. Even if you're renting a house for $1,000 and they take $100, I just don't think that's that big of a deal. Say you've got $100 grand worth of rental property. It's $10,000 a year of property management. That's like if you had a full-time employee and you paid them $10,000 for an entire year to manage all those properties. That wouldn't happen. But a rental management company, you're just in a pool of tons of rentals basically. So they're getting a little bit of money off of a ton of rentals. So that's how they end up making their money, is in volume. So I think it's well worth it. And the other thing that I learned was the person that suggested this to me, he is a locksmith and he worked for the company that's the property manager, but he has a bunch of rentals himself. And they were always asking, let us do your, let us manage your rentals, let us manage your rentals. And he's like, no, I'm just going to do it myself. One time he didn't have enough time to deal with one house because he was working on another one, so he turned it over to him. His plan, personally, he rented this house out for $700. He turned it over to the rental management company. They ran everybody through background checks, did everything that he normally didn't do himself. He would just kind of go by his gut, and then they rented the house out for $1,000, charged him 10%. So he made $900 and didn't have to do the work, when before he would have made $700 and would have had to do all of the potential work that you do when you're actually actively landlording. So when he said that to me, and he said, don't think you can do it all yourself for cheaper, just let them do it, move on to getting more houses, instantly took his advice and moved in this direction. So it's been great for me, and I'm looking forward to it on this one. The other thing too, property manager is going to find somebody really quick. One day, if it took me a month or two to find the right renter, in this case that would cost $1,200, and then from there you're doing it all on your own. So I'm more than happy to have somebody take that over for me. Last thing before we go is taking a quick look at the back of the house. Of course, you've seen it all already, but there's the little steps coming out the back, the covered area, and then the electric hooks up back here. I ended up using soffit vents for the crawl space vents, and I'll change those out for the correct vents at a later time, but it's about to move into the warm part of the year, so they need to be open anyway, but I needed to get something done quick. The trim around the windows is all treated decking boards. And then what I did for the window, originally I was going to have a window company come in and replace this one and then do the aluminum wrapping on all the rest of the windows in the house. That was going to cost $750, so I just bought this window from Lowe's for $140 and then trimmed them out with pressure treated and painted them with exterior solid stain. And so the whole thing came in at probably $250 versus $750, and I did it relatively quick, so I'm happy with the route that I went on that. I think that is pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching this series. I'm probably going to do a follow-up video, breakdown and some costs, maybe some other stuff that I'm forgetting now. But as far as being here at the house, this fellow's moving in a day or two, so this is the last time I can be here with free reign. So again, huge deal, y'all following along. This channel started out with about 6,000 subscribers when I started doing the videos on this house, and then now it's well over 100,000. And I know I've been slow here lately, but I've had so much going on. Now I'll let you in on a little secret. I finished this house on a Thursday, and I closed on another house on Friday, and I'm already working on that one. I've already got an entire other series of renovation that I've already done while I was doing this house behind me. That one's already filmed. I just need to start editing those and posting it. And then I'm going to start on the farmhouse soon. So that is a lot of work that is done, being done, and will be done. And I'll be showing it all to you here on this channel. So be sure to subscribe. Please share this channel with people who you think would enjoy it. And then check all the links in the description below. And thank you for watching. It's been fun.